Hello there. We can look at the advanced laws of indices. Right. Let's firstly deal with fractional indices. What does 5 to the half mean? It's our shorthand for the square root. Often we leave out that 2 of 5. And 5 to the power third then is the cube root of 5. About 5 to the power quarter. Well, I think you can spot the pattern now. That's the fourth root of 5. Now, so that's fractional indices. What about a negative sign in the index? Here we go. 2 to the power minus 1. The minus doesn't change the sign, it changes the nature of the base. It becomes a reciprocal. So 2 to the power minus 1 is 1 over 2. 2 to the power minus 2 is going to be 1 over 2 squared. 2 to the power minus 3 is 1 over 2 cubed. So the minus sign means 1 over. Let's combine those two things. What then would be 5 to the power minus 1/3? Well, we know the minus sign means it's reciprocal, so it's 1 over, and the fraction means that it's the root. So it's the cube root of 5. So it's 1 over the cube root of 5. Similarly, if I had 8 to the power minus 1/7, it would be 1 over, that's the minus sign, means reciprocal, and then 1/7 means it's the 7th root of 8. Okay, so we've looked at fractions. Fractions mean you find the root, so the denominator tells you what root it is, and a minus sign means reciprocal. Now let's just remind ourselves of this important rule of algebra, sorry, indices. When we have brackets like so, you multiply the indices. So that's 5 to the power 12. Contrast it with 5 cubed times 5 to the 4. Well, that's, in this instance, we add the indices. Now, how are we going to use that? Well, we're going to use that for evaluating, which means calculate a single value for ones such as this. 64 to the 2/3. That's the same as 64 to the 3rd, all raised to the power 2. Because if I multiply the 3rd times 2, I'd get 2/3. What's 64 to the 3rd? That's the cube root of 64. What number? Sorry, so that'll work better. What number times itself gives us 64, and the answer is 4. So 64 to the 3rd is 4. So 64 to the 3rd all raised to the 2 is going to be 4 squared. We're going to square that answer to give 16. Let's look at that again. Here we go. 16 all to the 3 over 2. That's the same as 16 to the power half. Sorry about that. 16 to the power half, all raised to the power 3. So, what's 16 to the half? That's 4. So, 16 to the 3 over 2 is going to be 4 cubed. In other words, 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. Right. Now, let's look to see if we've even got minus numbers in. We're going to look at this example here. (16 to the power minus 3/4). Now the minus sign should alert us that our final answer is going to be reciprocal. Let's look at this 3/4. Let's work out 16 to the 3/4. That is 16 to the power a quarter, all cubed. Now 16 to the power a quarter is the fourth root of 16. Now what number raised to the power 4 gives us 16? The answer is 2. So 16 to the power 3/4 equals 2 cubed equal to 8. So 16 to the minus 3/4 equals 1/8. So is there a shortcut? Yeah. Let's look at this final one here. Let's see if we can cut out some of the working. Here we go, 125 to the minus 2/3. Well, I know my answer because it's got a minus here, it's going to be 1/. Look, we've looked at a few examples here. The denominator of the fraction tells us the root to find, and the numerator tells me what to do with that root. So 125 to the 2/3 equals the cube root of 125 all squared. Now the cube root of 125 is 5, so it's 5 squared equal to 25, and then this minus in the index means it's 1/. So the answer is going to be 125 to the minus 2/3 is 1/25. Just a couple of others to be aware of. If you had an evaluate of, for instance, 123 to the power 0, anything to the power 0 is 1. Okay, thank you for listening.